All right, so today we're digging into a simple but seriously powerful technique to learn pretty much anything way faster. It comes from a guy named Richard Feynman, a Nobel Prize-winning physicist who is basically a legend at one thing, making really complicated ideas feel incredibly simple. Let's see how his secret can become your learning superpower.
So let me ask you this. You ever read something, you're nodding along, you feel like you totally get it, but then when you try to explain it to somebody else, or even just to yourself, you kind of stumble, right? The words don't quite connect, and you're left thinking, wait, I thought I knew this.
Well, that frustrating feeling, it has a name. It's called the illusion of knowing. And it's this tricky little gap where our brain mistakes being familiar with something for actually understanding it. It's a huge trap we all fall into. Now, this illusion, this feeling that we know more than we do, is probably the single biggest wall we hit when we're trying to learn. It tricks our brain into giving us a pass, letting us think we've mastered a topic when we've really just glanced at the cover. Overcoming this is absolutely key to unlocking real, deep knowledge. And that brings us right back to Richard Feynman. Because his genius wasn't just about physics, it was about being a master explainer. His whole philosophy for learning was built around one single powerful idea. See, Feynman believed that using big, complicated words and a ton of jargon is often just a smokescreen. It's a way people hide the fact that they don't really get it themselves. He argued that the real sign of mastery, the true test, isn't being complex, it's being radically simple. And here's the contrast, laid out plain and simple. On one side, you have all that complex jargon. It just clouds everything up, it obscures meaning, and it lets you hide from the parts you don't know. But on the other side, a simple explanation, that's proof. It shines a light on everything, reveals true understanding, and there's nowhere to hide. That's what we're aiming for. And you know, Feynman wasn't the only one who thought this way. The philosopher Mortimer Adler said it perfectly. If you can't actually express an idea, you don't truly know it. The very act of trying to explain it is what forces you to face all the blurry parts of your own knowledge. And this quote, this just says it all, doesn't it? Literally anyone can throw a bunch of big words around and make a topic sound confusing. The real work, the real sign of genius, is to make it simple. So, okay, the philosophy is great, but how do we actually do it? Well, Feynman didn't just give us an idea. He left us a clear, actionable, four-step method to get to that deep level of understanding. So let's break it down. Here they are, the 4 steps. It's a simple loop. First, you pick your topic and map out everything you think you know. Second, and this is the big one, you try to teach it to a kid. Third, you go back and fill in the gaps. And finally, you test it and file it away. Let's walk through each one. Step 1 is just beautiful in its simplicity. You grab a blank sheet of paper. At the very top, you write the name of the concept you want to learn, and then you just start writing. Write down everything you think you know about it. The goal here isn't to get an A+, it's just to get an honest snapshot of where you're starting from. Okay, now for the most important step. You have to try and explain the concept in your own words, but here's the killer rule. You have to use simple language. Like, pretend you're explaining it to a smart 12-year-old. No jargon allowed. This is where the real magic happens. The moments you get stuck, the places where you have to reach for a fancy term, that's not you failing, that's a huge win. You've just found the exact edge of your understanding. But why does actually writing this down work so well? Well, think about it. You can't hide from a blank page. The act of writing forces you to take all those jumbled thoughts in your head and put them into clear, logical sentences. It turns fuzzy ideas into concrete words. And most importantly, it makes your knowledge gaps impossible to ignore. There are the spots where you stop or stumble, and they tell you exactly where you need to focus next. All right, so you found the gaps, you know where you're weak. Now what? Well, now it's time to fill those gaps and make sure that this new knowledge actually sticks around. These next 2 steps are all about locking it in for the long haul. Step 3 is basically a powerful feedback loop. Whenever you hit one of those weak spots you found in step 2, you don't just guess or skip it. No, you go right back to the source material, the book, the lecture, whatever it is, and you focus only on that part until you really truly get it. Then you go back and try to rewrite your simple explanation.
You just keep doing that cycle until the whole thing is clear, simple, and correct.
And finally, the ultimate test. Put your notes away, find a friend, or even just talk to your reflection, and try to explain the concept out loud. The questions they ask or the spots where you hesitate will instantly show you if any part is still a little fuzzy. Once you can do that smoothly, take that amazing one-page note you created and file it away. You've just built a permanent, super simple entry for your own personal knowledge library.
So, when you put it all together, you can see that this is so much more than just a little study trick. It's a fundamental shift in how you learn. It turns you from being a passive person who just consumes information into an active person who builds deep, real, and lasting knowledge.
So what does all of this really boil down to? It's just one thing. One single, incredibly powerful and reliable technique that you can use to truly master any subject you want to learn. It's a game changer.
So, I'm going to leave you with a challenge. Not just a question, a challenge. Don't just think this is a cool idea. Actually do it. What's the one thing, a concept from work, a historical event, a scientific theory, anything, that you are going to master using this technique starting this week?